All right, good morning. We always start with the pledge, so please rise as we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Yes, sir.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Smith, will you open in prayer?
Heavenly Father, as we come to you, we thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to come together and do the business of the county. Lord, we ask that you'd guide us, that we would do it in a way that you would see, you'd be happy with what we do. And Lord, we ask that you would help each one to understand that not all decisions are going to go the way that they would like to see them go, but hopefully they'll go the way that you would see them go. Lord, we ask these things in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. All right, welcome. It is February 26th, last meeting of February. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes of February 19th.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
And I will second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Abstain.
In the matter of special payment to the Scioto County Treasurer for the principal and interest bond on the water and environmental program regarding sanitary engineering.
Any comments or questions on item 2? Hearing none.
I make the motion to accept.
I will second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
We're going to approve that.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Motion to approve.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
And Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of requests for appropriation transfer of funds,
Any comments or questions on transfer of funds?
Make a motion we approve the transfer.
I second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of approving payment of the regular schedule of accounts for the various funds, moral obligations, and then announced certificates in the total amount of $1,407,937.10.
Comments or questions on item 4?
I make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of accepting miscellaneous reports,
Any comments or questions on our miscellaneous reports?
Make a motion we accept the reports.
I'll second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of requests for fund transfers,
Any comments or questions on our fund transfers? Hearing none.
I make the motion to approve.
I will second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of notice to proceed for SCI TR 100-1.90 Pond Run Road Bridge Replacement Project, PID 117981, Federal Project Number E230400 regarding the engineer.
All right, this is the notice to proceed to DGM Inc. For the Pond Run Bridge Road replacement. Work substantially be completed by August 1st of 2026. Any comments or questions?
Before we move on, I'd like to make a comment that having checked into it and looked at it, I'd like to kind of, I guess, commend Engineer LeBrun. I kind of hate to do that, pat him on the back, but in searching, I think he is like number 2 in the state for getting this type of monies for road and bridge repair. And there's been some question throughout the winter about road repair and that sort of thing, and really, I think he's doing a tremendous job in getting that money here to do that. If he's number 2 in the state, I think it said that Cuyahoga County was the only county that got more than what we did, so that's pretty good. And so, anyway, having said that, I'll make a motion to approve this project.
All right, we got a motion?
I will second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of resolution proclaiming March 2026 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month in Scioto County, Ohio.
All right, this is always a good resolution, gentlemen. I know you haven't got to take part in this. Our friends from the Vern Rife School will be downstairs, I believe at 10:15 to receive this resolution. And it is proclaiming March 2026 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month in Scioto County. And we will read this full resolution when all of our friends are downstairs with them. So you've had the opportunity to review it. Any comments or questions?
And I make the motion to adopt.
I'll second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of memorandum of agreement between the Scioto County Board of Commissioners and the City of Portsmouth, Ohio.
All right, this is agreement between the Scioto County Board of Commissioners and the City of Portsmouth for the purpose of authorizing the Scioto County Dog Pound to euthanize stray dogs seized by the Portsmouth City Health Department after an expiration of the city's 72-hour stray dog hold. This process actually had been handled by the city at times and then also the county at times, but they are asking in the event that we would have to euthanize a dog that is taken in by the city, if we're willing to do that for them for the cost of, I believe it's $100 per each stray dog. That's never the goal, but sometimes, unfortunately, it's necessary, and this is putting into place that partnership with the county and the city. Any comments or questions?
I'll make a motion, we approve the agreement.
I will second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of notice to bidders for concrete and grout materials, aggregate materials, emulsion cutback, and primer materials regarding the engineer.
All right, we'll be putting out the notice to bidders. We do this every year for concrete, grout materials, aggregate materials, emulsion cutback, primer materials. And bid opening is March 26th at 10 a.m. So we'll be doing a bid opening then, specific for these items. Any comments or questions? Hearing none.
I make the motion to approve.
I will second.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of recommendation from the Technology Services Committee regarding the request for proposals for the Management Information Technology Services position to be awarded and contract approval upon completion.
All right, so we do have a recommendation from our Managed Information Technology Services. We had a committee review this, Technology Services Committee, to review our request for proposals. The committee is recommending Network Innovation Services, NIS, for our information technology services going forward. A monthly cost of $7,440.86. Annual of $89,290.32, and having on-site staff Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. You might remember that we've been in we've had a contract in place with a previous provider that was variable, which is last year we ended up paying $128,091, and it's kind of hard to budget anytime you have a variable monthly rate depending on service calls. So this will save the county $38,801 based on the 2025 expenditure amount. So we're looking forward to that transition, hoping for a smooth transition. And NIS is here in the room today, so we look forward to working with you, sir, and your team as we move through this process. Any additional comments or questions?
I'll make a motion, we approve the awarding the contract.
I will second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of accepting the approval of extension of time for the payment of real property taxes in Scioto County filed by the Scioto County Treasurer and the County Auditor regarding the Department of Taxation.
So you may remember a couple weeks ago, Treasurer Sandlin was here asking about if the commission can extend the tax payment deadline to make sure people aren't getting hit with penalties. This commission does not handle that. It's actually the tax commission. So he went through that process and did receive an extension for the first half collection of taxes in 2025 due to the weather. Quite frankly, we've had a lot of bad weather. So it moves that deadline from January 31st, 2026 to March 2nd, 2026. Because February 28th is a Saturday. So March 2nd, 2026. So anything that's happened prior to then should not be penalized. Anything prior to then should not be penalized. So thank you, Treasurer Sandlin, for taking the extra steps to ensure people weren't being penalized, because quite frankly we had a lot of level 1s and level 2s in January, and that impacted some people being able to get here. So any comments or questions? Hearing none.
I make the motion to accept.
I'll second.
Mr. Malt,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of fiscal year 2023 Community Housing Impact and Preservation Program, lead abatement program regarding First Amendment.
So this is amendment to the CHIP program, specifically lead abatement. It actually increased by $45,000, so they had additional funds. So it does, it is a change in our agreement, but more money is always better. So, gentlemen, if we have a motion.
I make a motion to approve getting more money for that program.
All right, great.
I second.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Malt,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of letter of support for the second phase of Portsmouth PH2 project regarding senior living.
So if you recall, we've been working with Stetton Development in West Portsmouth on the senior housing project that they have. Phase 1 is in full swing. If you drive over there, you can see the construction. This is a letter of support for Phase 2 that helps them with some of the funding they go after. We know that we have a housing crisis really in the state, but for sure here in Scioto County. This project specifically, I believe it'll end up taking it fully to 104 units, I think. But what that does is it frees up some elderly folks to move out of maybe these bigger houses that they probably shouldn't be in, can't maintain, and they're able to get into something more manageable, some senior living. It's independent living, and then frees up the housing stock for then people that bought their first homes, and now it kind of creates a domino effect for everyone looking for a house. So in theory, it'll free up 104 potential units once they're done. But this is just our letter of support to help them going after some of their funding that they're looking for. Any comments or questions?
I make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Malt,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of resolution vacating a part of an alley between Central Avenue and Hamilton Avenue, lots 127 through 130, Porter Township, Scioto County, Ohio.
All right, we actually already went through this process. We did the alley viewing where you go out and you're like, yep, that's what that is. And you actually couldn't even see an alley. Somewhere over time, somebody actually built a garage on top of the alley, but for the purposes of this property owner, they request that we vacate the alley to kind of combine the units and the lots. So this is the final step of that. Any comments or questions?
It was amazing when we went up there. They said, okay, come up and look at the alley. And we pulled in and where's the alley? It was because there was a garage sitting in the middle of it, and it basically looked like a driveway going into the garage, but I guess sometime it was an alley. So understanding that, I'll make a motion to adopt this resolution.
I'll second.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Malt,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Aye.
In the matter of request from the Job and Family Services Director of an additional advance of tax levy funding.
So we have another tax levy funding advance request from JFS in the amount of $572,500. Of course, this helps them get their tax funds sooner to help with housing costs that's being driven by the levy that's on for CPS. Any comments or questions?
I make the motion to adopt.
I will second.
Mr. Malt,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Hi. We do have an executive session. We're going to punt on that because I know every time we go into executive session, people end up leaving and they don't get to ask questions. So in respect of your gentleman's time, we want to make sure that you're able to ask questions. So at this point, we'll go to questions of items on or off agenda. Yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Hey, thanks, gentlemen. Questions on the agenda. Item number 10, is that part of the hot mix program?
I believe so. It's all material that they use for paving. So the engineer gives us that, and then it'll be whether it's hot mix, whether it's gravel. Like it's multiple items that we get every year. It's typically, 10, 15 items that they bid on each individual element of the paving process.
Yeah, I just know over the years the hot mix program has saved the county and taxpayers an awful lot of money. And I just wondered if that was the same program or just separate?
It's connected to it, and then also the engineer recently got a new piece of equipment out there where they can create some of their own mix, where they take some of the groundings, and now they have this. I'm not even going to try to say what the piece of equipment is because I'll probably butcher it. I don't remember. But Darren has done a fantastic job. His crew does a great job finding these pieces of equipment, saving the county money, partnering with the townships and saving the townships money, as we have those agreements that exist. Also the city, part of that partnership is why we have Chillicothe Street paved the way it is. So, Engineer LeBrun does a fantastic job working with all the other political subdivisions to make their money go further because he gets bulk pricing.
Okay. Also on the agenda, item number 12, the extension for payment of real property taxes. I did speak to Treasurer Sandlin earlier part of this week, and I think it's a good thing. I'm allowed to editorialize on that. I know 2 weeks ago you guys tabled that item on the agenda. Were there any impediments or anything at that time that kind of wanted you to take a little longer look at it? Or?
So today's action is truly just us accepting the communication that it happened. There's really no power or purview within this board to be able to take action.
Right.
So it was something official to go into our file that said, hey, this happened. So truly a different process outside of us. Treasurer Sandlin was kind of working through the process for the first time and figuring out where the right places to go. And he figured it out, and I think overall the citizens should be thankful that they get a little more time and not collect the penalties should they have been late due to the
Sure,
weather.
and you kind of alluded to that when you tabled it a little bit, but I just, for clarification's
Yep.
sake. And also on the agenda, item number 16, it's the second request for advance on tax levying funds. Is that an uncommon request in your gentlemen's opinions?
You haven't been here long enough to,
Well,
you want to guess at it? I could give an answer.
I can guess and say that
Well, let me
it's,
clarify,
yeah.
my point is that I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's wrong or anything like
Yeah.
that, I'm just asking
Yeah.
from a procedure
I can
standpoint.
guess and say that it's not uncommon because for a number of years, there's been a problem with placement monies, and that's why the levy was put on, a year or so ago, 2 years ago?
Yep.
The levy was put on because there is a problem with money for placements, and it's not unusual for them to ask for that early to pay those bills. And our hope is that we can catch it up and as the year goes on and it not be a problem at the end of the year. That's the fear of taking an early draw on it, is that, okay, you take the early draw, where are we going to be at come the end of the year? Hopefully, we've been working on things. We've met and we've looked at different ways to maybe save some money in the department to try to make sure that at the end of the year that doesn't become a problem. But in answer to your question, I don't think that that's unusual for us to be extending or allowing them to get that early request for the tax money. It's just that we have to think about, where are we going as we give that.
Yeah, and really over the years, we've seen these requests through multiple different agencies that rely on tax, levy funding or property tax funding. Hey, can I get my money sooner because I have front end things I got to pay for versus waiting until the check's cut. So not uncommon at all. I just want somebody else to answer, quite frankly.
I encourage you guys for over a decade.
He wouldn't throw somebody else under the bus.
Well, he's the one that made me ask you all the questions last week. But just covering you guys for over a decade, I know that it's happened before. And now, one follow-up question to that, and I have no clue about the answer, to be honest with you. When you issue advances on tax levying funds like that, are they dedicated to a certain type of expenditure within that department, or are they used at the discretion of the agency?
I mean, they'll be able to use it based on what that levy is specifically for. So they're just getting the money sooner and it's going into a normal function as they would have used it, had they get it 3 months from now versus today. So it's still at their discretion based on what that levy was.
Okay, makes sense. Just off agenda, and I'll get right out of your hair, I promise. I think I know what the answer is going to be, but I'll ask it anyway. Do you have any comment on the lawsuit or the complaint that was filed against the commissioners at all?
I'm on round robin before I answer.
Mayor, your shoulders gotta be getting pretty sore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look
yeah,
in this
he-
direction here in a second.
He keeps turning to me, but.
No, I'm gonna look over here in a second.
Yeah, typically on the lawsuit itself, I would say, we're not going to, talk a whole lot about the things in the lawsuit because it is an ongoing lawsuit. But, I mean, obviously the lawsuit is a suit saying that we did something wrong in executive session when we were making the decision to make a CRA area up in Franklin Furnace. And at this point, we've turned it over to our attorneys to look into it and whatever. Bill, last time I was asked about the NDA, where we were with, the stuff with that, and it's the same type of thing. If, the law is the law, and if we haven't followed the law, then you tell us we haven't followed it, and we'll fix what we can and do what we can. But we try every time that we do these things. We talk to attorneys and we talk to the people around us, and we try to do the thing that is right by the law. And we're not perfect, so we could mess up, and if we did, then that's fine, and we'll correct it. But at this point, it's just a matter of finding out if our attorneys and us were right with our interpretation, or if they're right with their interpretation. So we'll find that out when we get in the court.
You got it.
I have no comment.
It's not surprising that we were sued in this matter. I think if you were paying attention, we actually had an attorney show up to 2 of the public meetings, one here and then one in Green Township, looking for business, my opinion, collecting names, collecting phone numbers. What's interesting to me is that that's not the attorney that's suing us. So quite frankly, he could be suing us eventually for something else, or he didn't see anything there. But so often what we find is when I'm against a project, if I can't attack the project, I attack the process. So in grand scheme of things, I'm not going to talk about my opinion of the lawsuit itself, but at the end of the day, if we did something wrong, the CRA will be vacated. It'll cost the county some money and legal fees. And then we have the opportunity to just fix it anyway. Or it comes back and we didn't do anything wrong and the attorney still made money. So in my vantage point, and unless these other 2 gentlemen would vote differently 6, 7, 8 months from now, however long this thing's going to drag out, we end up at the same place. Just some attorneys made some money in the process. So that's kind of my take on it. We'll see. Not surprised we were sued. In fact, at the Green Township meeting, the one attorney said, "Hey, look, we don't have to win. We just have to slow them down." So once again, if this is the tactic under the guise of transparent government, once again, we're using laws that are in place. Boards go into executive session all the time for many reasons. Entities sign NDAs all the time for many reasons. So, it'll be under the guise of, hey, I just want the government to be more transparent, when in reality it's specifically targeted at the data center, in my opinion. But whether it's today or even a year from now, I think we still end up at the same place. So we'll see. Well, look, to Merritt's point, if we did something wrong, by all means, tell us, we'll fix it, it's fine. But it means we'll still fix it. So that's kind of where I'm at on it, Bill. Appreciate the question.
Guys, thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks.
Any additional comments, items not on agenda? Yes, sir. If it's too difficult for you, you don't have to. Well, nobody will be able to hear you. All of our adoring fans won't be able to hear you, so I'll just repeat your question.
No, what it is, you mentioned about having a meeting in Franklin Furnace.
Yeah.
I lived there for 28 years.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about any of this stuff going on
Sure.
until I saw it on television. I would like to know when we're having meetings,
Okay.
okay? But the thing of it is, we need to find some way to let people know that we're actually having meetings so that everybody knows. And that way, if they want to show up, they can. If they don't, they got no right. That easy.
That's fair.
But that way we know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I don't consider it being like non-transparent, but we do what we do, okay?
Yeah.
But it would be in good faith for everybody,
Yeah.
and they would know that, then they wouldn't have to gripe about it, we know what's going on. Because this is not something that's gonna be like a coke plant, it's gonna be long term years.
Right.
These will not leak. And the amount of sound, and the sound abatement coming out of that thing, if it's what I think it is, it's gonna be major. When they built Duke Energy, and you've got that, those cooling towers, putting all that on the highway, theoretically, I mean, I know the guy that went in that place when they set it up. It was very close to not being able to put it in there.
Sure.
Theoretically, you can't, because it's too close to a major highway, and that's why it ices up. I used to be a steam engineer, I was a master electrician.
Okay.
I don't know everything,
Yeah,
but I got a pretty good grab on a lot of things.
sure.
And this is gonna be one hell of a big part, sorry for doing.
No, you're fine, yeah.
One heck of a big mess, okay?
Yeah.
It already is a big mess. But you can't trust Google or those other people, or your lawyers or anybody. They don't care.
Yeah.
They will hang you in this.
So,
I'm not
it's, so,
saying you've done anything.
no, I appreciate that.
You have to do what you have to do.
Yeah. And just so people are aware, the comment was to make meetings more evident that they're happening. And that's,
Some way to know.
yeah, in that specific instance, we just went to at the trustees' behest. It was actually their meeting, so we were invited to their standard
Yeah.
meeting, their monthly meeting. So I don't know how they communicated that we were coming or
Well,
not,
you
but,
need to find some way. I'll have to try to communicate with them too.
okay,
I've been to some of their meetings.
Yeah.
Just like tonight, I've got 3 different places that I'm gonna be.
you can only be at one of
You
them.
already know where I'm gonna be going.
I do,
Okay?
yeah,
So that's when we show up.
Sure.
You know, it's just is what it is, but we need to know. There may be some way, I don't know, I can't see it putting on WSS, if they're having a meeting tonight, but there's some way, that when it talks about the radio, nobody listens to the radio, you know?
you can't say that with Bill Shope sitting.
All you do is I'm kidding.
Sorry. But no, I appreciate your comment,
And
yeah.
there's some way we've got to be able to find this out, to
Yeah.
know when we're having, and to be able to show up and get information.
Yep,
Because as long as people don't have information, that creates problems,
right,
big problems. Everything has to be transparent.
sure.
And I'm not saying anything, but that's where the whole problem started, honestly.
I agree, appreciate that.
But, anyhow.
And to your question there, that, you know, we're required by law to, if we're having a public meeting, to
I know.
announce that meeting's coming,
I know all
and,
that.
but the situation, like Scotty said, in Franklin Furnace is, we didn't announce that because we went to the trustee meeting, and it's their responsibility to say, okay, we're having a meeting tonight and this is going on, but yeah, and that's partly, you know, we tagged onto their meeting up there because it's a longer process. It was a hot button issue at that time, and we wanted to get there as quickly as we could to deal with it, and getting there quickly meant it was a whole lot easier to tag onto their meeting than to have one of our own up there.
It's gonna be a mess. And if you look, and I mean, I ran turbine generators in the Navy in 2 different ships, so 2 different steam plants, and I was electrical power operator. I generated power.
Yeah.
That's mainly what I did in my life, was power generation, distribution, industrial maintenance, that lot of stuff. This thing, depending on how they're gonna suck juice from somewhere, is still gonna be noisy as crap. And I tried to read on some of it to find out, and they actually use direct cooling. So when they use that direct cooling, okay, on this circuitry and on that to keep it cool,
Yeah.
it has to stay cold, it can't get hot. In order to do that, you're gonna have to have a lot of cooling facilities. Usually it's cooling down, cooling tower doesn't do, okay?
Yeah.
What causes all that steam is that's the condensate coming out of that plant, going through that cooling tower, and it drops. Then you figure the height it drops and how hard it falls, how much heat energy you can give it off the BTU.
Sure.
That's what causes your steam, because steam is evaporation.
Right,
Evaporation is cooling. It's gonna be the same thing with this mess, but you're gonna have a closed loop on the cooling system. They're not gonna close the cooling system inside the plant.
right,
But to cool that is gonna be exterior. There's several different ways that can do that. How, I'm not exactly sure how to do it. Depends on which way they want to go. I got to the point years ago when I went to work on something, 99 times out of 100, I didn't have a schematic. Okay, didn't have a book. I just walked up and looked at it, figure about 4 or 5 different ways to build it and go and fix it.
Sure.
And that's the same thing you got here, because there's several different ways.
So different ways that, yep.
Do this, which one thing that's going to be standard in this is how they do these other plants. This thing's going to be federal before it gets over. Because it's happening all over the state.
Yeah.
You turn on the news this morning, actually Kentucky has got a thing where they're trying to stop it. And it's going to be one heck of a big deal, a lot bigger than this is.
Yep.
But how it affects people and their lives and their homes, we don't know a thing.
Sure.
And they've already got this on the drawing board for a few years ago.
Well, appreciate your comments, sir. Any, Landon, you got something? Sure.
Thank you. This is off the agenda. Commissioner Pye, you signed a non-disclosure agreement on June 12, 2025, correct?
I'd have to see what that date is. I'm guessing you have it in front of you.
I
Yeah,
did. 6/12/25.
Yeah.
Commissioner Davis was still attending meetings at that time, correct?
He was still in office at that time, I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Did Commissioner Davis have any type of involvement within this project?
To my knowledge, no. So I'll kind of walk you through that a little bit. So when I signed the NDA, it was still in the backdrop that we did not have an economic development director. Robert had already been indicted. So I was the person that Jobs Ohio reached out to. The way this unfolds, and I don't know if people understand this or not, they say, hey, do you want to meet a possible developer, billion-dollar project, Fortune 100 tech company? And we would be negligent in our jobs if we said, no, I don't want to meet that person, right? So you go and you have a conversation with them. They don't tell you who they are, what they're doing. They don't even tell you their last names. And then the question is, hey, for us to be able to share more with you to see if it even makes sense for the community, are you willing to sign an NDA? That happens all the time. So when I signed an NDA, I was the lead economic development person because as the chair of the board, without an economic development department or entity in the community, somebody had to do that. So that was my function then. Actually, I don't think he ever signed an NDA because I made it painfully aware to that team. Hey, our economic development director was just indicted. There's a very real possibility that the only other person sitting beside me could or could not be. I don't know if it makes sense at this time to pull anybody else in. So to my knowledge, he never signed an NDA, he never spoke to Google, he never really interacted with the project at all.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. And I do want to talk a little bit about since we keep talking NDAs, I know there was a question last week about the pending legislation about NDAs. I will say that I think when you look at legislation in general, you have to look at who's submitting it and kind of the backdrop of it. I personally think it's lazy legislation that is, quite frankly, pandering to the hometown crowd. So when you look at Adam Byrd, it's because there's a big fight happening down in Mount Orb, right in his backyard right now regarding the NDA legislation. And the legislation says no elected official can sign an NDA. If you look at the other person that is co-sponsoring that's Rep. Brian Stewart up in Circleville area. Asheville is fighting a data center project right now as well. So you have that backdrop. But the problem with the legislation, and if it truly is enacted, it still allows economic development directors to sign NDAs. It still allows economic development entities to sign NDAs. So let's pretend it goes through under those premises. Then we could have very real had a Robert Horton working for the commissioners, signing NDAs, and then as his boss saying, what are you working on? And he could look us in the face and say, I can't tell you. So the people that are being elected to represent the community, and you guys can hold us accountable every 4 years, but the people that are being elected to represent will have zero insight. And if you don't believe that to be true, look at what's happening in Adams County right now. The commissioners are out of the loop because Paul Worry, good guy, he's their economic development guy, signed an NDA, looking at projects. The community's come in to talk to the commissioners saying, hey, what can you tell us about this project? We can't tell you anything because our guy can't tell us anything. So there's a breakdown in the process where the people that are eventually going to be asked to take action publicly is not going to be able to have all of the information because, quite frankly, this law will prevent it from so. Because what people don't understand about NDAs is $1 billion project moves the supply chain, it moves the price of property, it moves stock markets. Like, there's a reason they don't announce these things until they know they're going to happen. Specifically for Franklin Furnace, that land literally just closed on last week. Now, you got to wonder, like, if it was only an economic development director that had all the information and then comes to the three of us and says, hey, you guys interested in tax abatement? Well, what can you tell us? Not much. That's an issue. That's a real issue for transparency, if you want to talk about it, because the elected people, the people that the citizens put in these seats, would have zero visibility on any major projects. So I think it's, quite frankly, I think it's lazy legislation. And then when you look at why and who's sponsoring it, you know, Brian Stewart was the same individual that took issue with our own prosecutor and his guidance that he gave Brian Davis about not interacting in conflict of interest items regarding O Still, Ohio. Brian Stewart sent our prosecutor a letter saying, I disagree with your opinion. And now he wants to talk about transparency and he wants to talk about NDAs. So it's frustrating. It's a nice thing to talk about. It's legislation that probably will never pass, and it's nice to talk about to the base. But the reality is, I don't ever see it going because that doesn't exist in any other state. So if you want to tie Ohio's hands from development, then by all means champion that legislation. Went on a tangent there. I don't typically do that. Bill knows that, right, Bill? But whatever, that's kind of where we sit today. We do have executive session, and I want to be mindful of the Vern Reif School, and I know they'll be downstairs shortly. So is there any other questions in the room? No. Apologize to anything that may or may not be online. Nothing's online. No, you're fine. You're fine.
There was a guy, I think you mentioned him, the guy that invited
Which one?
county commissioners.
Yeah.
I heard about it, see where it on do.
Yeah.
A lot about it. Was he over that development, or was it here, or?
Over what development? Just economic development in general?
Yeah.
So we had an economic development director that reported to the commissioners. He was indicted first. And then the sitting commissioner was also indicted as a co-conspirator. And then it's playing out in the court system even now. So it's just kind of dragging through the court system. So 2 individuals were actually indicted. One was a county employee running economic development. The other one was a sitting commissioner. Yeah, I agree. That was my response too.
You were talking about that as far as doing that. Google, it appears that Google is doing that across the country in multiple states.
Yeah.
Which makes it a federal ordinance. At the end of the day, it might take a while, but we go with legislation.
That's,
Just want to go that far.
yeah, I don't disagree. With that, I do want to move into executive session. We're going to use executive session, just so everybody's aware. And this is executive session to consider the employment and compensation of a public employee pursuant to a revised code 121.22G1. Can I get a motion?
I will make a motion that we go into executive session to consider the employment and compensation of public employees pursuant to the code mentioned.
All right, got a motion?
I will second.
Got a second? And inviting in our maintenance director.
Tyler.
Yep,
Miller.
so we'll make sure we're inviting him in.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Malt,
Aye.
Mr. Powell.
Hi,
And
thanks
then
so
10:11.
much. It's 10:11. We will return shortly. Still online, and then we'll adjourn, should there be any action taken. All right, this time I'll entertain a motion to exit executive session and reconvene our regular session.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
Mr. Malt,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Mr. Powell,
Aye.
and it is 10:17.
All right, 10:17. We do potentially have action out of executive session. Commissioner Smith.
Yeah, we had recently had a resignation from our maintenance department, and we have really tried not to backfill positions. We've worked hard to try not to backfill those positions because of the financial situation the county's in. But this is actually the second spot out of the maintenance area that we've not filled, and so we're going to fill this one. and what we talked about in the executive session was that I can't say what we did in there, but I can say what we came out of there with. We are going to put before the board a request to bring on a couple of interns from the CTC. The last place that I worked, when I left, I was doing such a good job that they had to replace me with 3 people. And they brought in 2 interns to replace me with. And that's where I got this idea, is that, hey, you know, there's a possibility that we could bring some people in, bring some young people in, train them to do a job, and when that time is up, possibly hire those people or move them on to a position where that they could be hired after having some experience. So the CTC offers this internship program where the students, if they have got all their academics in to where they're ready to graduate, but yet they still have to come to school to put their time in, they try to place them out into positions as interns. And we've talked to the CTC. They have some students available. Our maintenance supervisor has talked with these students and feel like that they would be good for placement here in the courthouse. And so we're going to try to bring those interns in and work them at least until the end of this school year, and we'll see how that works. And then maybe financially the county will be in a position that we can replace that person, or maybe this program works out so well that we continue to do the internship. But as of right now, we're going to try to bring those young people in, give them some training, allow them to be prepared to go out into the workforce, as well as possibly be someone that we can hire here once we find out what type of job they do. So that's kind of the plan of what we were looking to do.
Commissioner Smith, I appreciate you spearheading this and coming up with a different solution for how we handle maintenance, while also providing, quite frankly, opportunities for our youth to get into the workforce, to learn some skills from our team, and also it should save the county money. So it's less hours per intern than a full-time person. I think it's 32 a person. And then also it's less rate of pay because it is intern and they're kind of on the job learning. So thank you for all of your due diligence on this project and your work with Tyler on this to get him the support, but also provide a different path for our youth. So with that, any additional comments?
I think it's a win-win situation. I'm in agreement with both of them.
All right.
I'll make a motion that we hire these interns as we have set forth.
All right.
And I will second.
So we have a motion to hire 2 interns at the direction of our maintenance director.
Yes.
Okay. And we got a second. So,
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
aye. Thank you again, Commissioner Smith, on your efforts on that one. With that, we don't have any more questions, anything else on the agenda. I know we typically have closing comments, but I also know that we have our friends downstairs waiting diligently on us. So I'm going to forego comments today, gentlemen, if that's okay with you, and just entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Hi. Thank you, everybody, and have a great weekend.